I met somebody with a lot of Instagram followers. This is Cory, and this is the O The Anthem podcast.
Yeah, we met a long time ago. Good afternoon, everybody.
Idiot.
17 years ago, in fact. Interesting fact. Next August, Cory and I will have known each other for longer than we didn't know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that fun? Especially for the girls.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to episode 288 of the O The Anthem podcast, coming to you from the hashtag OTA LA studios, high above the 110 freeway in downtown Los Angeles, California. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for listening on your podcatcher of choice. The easiest way, anchor.fm/O The Anthem. I don't know how many times I have to say it. I'll say it one more time. Anchor.fm/O The Anthem. You can find the link to the podcatcher of your choice there, or you can listen on Anchor. It's all the same to us.
And, of course, you can find more O The Anthem at O The Anthem on Twitter and Instagram, including cute pictures of producer Carly, who unfortunately didn't even show up today. Ugh, what are you going to do?
Sleeping on the job. Literally.
Yeah. And, of course, you're watching live right now at facebook.com/O The Anthem. Generally, we record all of the episodes live right there on Facebook. You can also find all of the videos at youtube.com/O The Anthem. And everything O The Anthem related is available at otheanthem.com, including the merch store, which has a lot of exciting merchandise in it.
Indeed.
Yes.
So, the news of the week. Shall we launch right into it?
Well, first, I added a little something to the top.
Yeah.
Cory needs some advice. And not just general life advice, because I think we can all agree he definitely needs that.
Too late for that.
Yeah. You have a bit of a decision coming up, and I tried to give you my advice, but I feel like there might be better advice out there.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, the current car that I have, the Accord, as lovely as a vehicle as it may be, is not suitable for my needs anymore in terms of I need more space. Now, I'm going one of two ways on this. One is either I can either get something with space that's economical, like
2014 Honda CR-V.
or like a electric car of some kind, or a hybrid. Either one of those would do. But then there's also the part of me that thinks I should just get something with like fucking 300 horsepower, just like rip red around town, fuck gas mileage. But I certainly need an SUV, or at least something large like an SUV. So yeah, I'm rounding down my choices right now. But if anyone has something that they like, bought a new car recently, they're just like, I love my, they're gonna say something that completely doesn't fit my needs either. It's I love my Fiat 500.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, not enough car for me.
No, wait, now listen. If you put the little shell thing on the roof, it gives you as much cargo space as an SUV.
I mean, it's basically one of those little trailers that follow around your...
Yeah. Just
like those old-timey metal trailers.
Now all you have to do is pick up your bag and throw it up into the storage area on the roof.
Or I could just buy a nice bike and just...
Pull one of the pull trailers.
Go to Santa Clarita on my bike with all my stuff like...
Ooh, motorcycle with a sidecar. Have you thought about that?
Oh, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And put Rachel on the back when you need to. I'm sure she'd get on the back of a motorcycle. She seems like the type.
She used to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Her dad had a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah.
Don't
say a motorcycle. Don't say a Fiat. I'm going to get the Fiat EC or whatever.
Don't say a Corvette. Rachel has been trying to talk me into buying a Mustang convertible, and she can drive it, and then I can just use her CR-V when I need to go to set.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, this sounds like I buy you a Mustang. That's what that sounds like.
I don't know if you understand how this sugar daddy arrangement works. That's how you have to do it.
No sugar daddy.
Sorry, Azúcar? No. Splendid Daddy.
Splendid Daddy.
Yes, Splendid Daddy.
Give me the taste of the sugar without the actual calories.
That's my life too. No worries. All right. Well, yeah. So if you have any advice, Cory at otheanthem.com.
Yeah. Or at LegendsCB5, wherever good social media can be found.
You can do what Roberto does, friend of the show, Roberto, and just send Cory, and I mean me as well, if you would like, a video of something with no context, and just assume that we'll pull from this video what the context is that we're supposed to have. So, like, here's a video from Motor Trend. And, 40 seconds into this minute-long video is a 2-second flash of an electric SUV.
Yeah.
Well, clearly I meant that you should watch it.
You should see that electric SUV.
Yeah, and then go get more information about it. That's certainly welcome as well. So feel free to do any of those things that you would like. Anyway,
Indeed.
yes. So let's move on then to the first segment of the show. All right.
SportsBall.
Yes.
Yeah, so because of mostly my schedule, things got turned around a little bit here, which is why we didn't have like the live streaming on some of these episodes here recently.
Yeah. Also, we recorded on Saturday, I think 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. So we missed talking about the Steelers game and missed talking about now we get a chance to talk about the Bengals game from this week. But basically, we missed 2 weeks worth of games here. So
Well, I'll say I watched exactly 0 seconds of the Bengals game. I was at
you were in Long Beach.
Long Beach at the Queen Mary, which if you're in the area, I highly recommend going and checking out Dark Harbor at Queen Mary. For those of you on the East Coast, you can think Jason's Woods. What's the other one that they have?
Are you talking about like the haunted?
It's like a haunted maze.
Yeah.
They have them everywhere. But Pennsylvania is like really big on doing those for some reason. I remember always driving to Pennsylvania anyway. Nonetheless, it's like that, except for they don't do that in Southern California at all, except for this or going to a theme park. So you can go to like Disney, you can go to Universal. I think Knott's Berry Farms has one as well.
Not Scary Farm.
Not Scary Farm.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, not sure I would go with that for a scary Halloween thing.
Well, it's not Scary Farm.
Right. It's KNOTTS.
So it's like now it is become scary. It's the knots you know and love, but now scary.
Yes.
Like that's sort of the.
Or I could read it as
not scary. Yeah, not Scary Farm.
That's why you need me for your marketing, Knott's Berry Farms. I'm available.
Still, not Berry Farm doesn't work very well either. If you're thinking about it that way.
See, but if I'm thinking about berries, I'm thinking about Knott's, which is a berry and jam and jelly company.
All of this is completely unrelated.
So I was at the Queen Mary, and we got we got codes to get into the secret bars, which means you got like not free, but pretty cheap drinks. They were all shots, of course. So sometime between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m., I had about 15 shots in addition to the 5 drinks I had before we went in. So I was wasted. And I don't drink that much anymore. So I was hungover. My alarm, my Sunday alarm to set my lineups went off. I grabbed my phone and with one hand, checked the injury reports, adjusted my lineups, silenced the follow-up alarm, which is like, hey, idiot, you're about to run out of time. Good, an emergency move in.
Yeah.
I went right back to sleep and slept for another hour. So then I got out of bed and went and had brunch because that was far more important than football at the time. So I didn't see any of the game. I did see the Steelers game, however.
I missed the Steelers game.
Yeah, you were working, right?
But both of these games, I think, come down to something that I was trying to explain to a friend about gambling on these games.
And that's SportsBall.
I would not, under any circumstances, feel comfortable betting on any line Vegas may offer on any AFC North matchup. It's just like we're one of those divisions where the Ravens could be clearly better than the Bengals, but I'm never going to feel like 7.5 points secure about it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm never going to feel secure to bet the Bengals going like, wow, the Ravens won't beat them by 7.5, because then we also get these matchups where, you know, one team gets slaughtered.
Yeah, and you place that bet, and you immediately want to jump out the window when they run back the open kickoff, and you're like, oh, okay, wasn't expecting that. All right, let me double down.
It's not like I thought the Bengals would win. It's just that I thought, you know, like, will they cover is really, and they did. So all the people who didn't bet the under, to me, it's like the same thing with I got messages about Lamar's poor performance in the Steeler game and stuff like that, and I was just like, Steeler games are not like actual football games. They're organized chaos in the form of, I mean, live football.
The AFC East is the same way. If you aren't playing the Patriots, kind of a crapshoot. You never know who's going to show up. I mean, NFC East is actually the same way. Giants, Redskins, like, you never know.
Cowboys losing 3 straight, though.
Yeah, it's like you never know what team's going to show up and how they're going to play when they do show up. So those conference games are hard because you think going in that you think you know the teams, but sometimes like playing at Heinz Field, a bad Steeler team might play better.
Well, sometimes it's knowing the teams hurts you even more.
Oh, that's
because
true.
like you just end up taking away like the best weapons on both teams, and then it's just like a slugfest of your third and fourth best options.
Yeah. Also, from an outsider's view, you put too much bank in the like, well, this is a rivalry game, so we don't know how they're going to show up.
I will say this. Something I learned about that I absolutely love. Prior to the Steelers, or during the Steelers game, they announced that the Ravens have like some secret field somewhere near the training complex. I don't know if it's actually like inside of the walls of the complex or if it's like a field down the street kind of thing. But it has the same grass as they have at Heinz Field.
Okay.
Because it's so terrible and unreliable that they basically made a Heinz Field close to the Ravens training center, and then when it's Steeler week,
they go play
in
there.
Heinz Field. No. Just the kicking team goes there.
Oh.
Just to get used to kicking in that shitty grass.
Oh, well, you know.
And
that makes sense.
Tucker, with the game-winning field goal in overtime, certainly made that feel like a worthwhile investment.
Yes.
If it equals one win over the Steelers in Heinz Field, it's worth it.
Especially when you have to use those terrible towels for tears. Yes. But squeaked it on.
Good job by the Steeler fans for showing up last night and completely taking over the Chargers game. Did you see any of that?
Yeah. So I did watch some of the Chargers.
90% Steeler fans.
And I love that like they divided the stadium in half, like, you know, home side, away side. It was packed on the away side, and the home side was just like, hey, is there a football game today? Yeah, sure. Let's go. But hey, don't make us drive to Carson.
A lot of people, a lot of Charger fans going like, man, the stadium's a lot further away than it used to be. What's this Los Angeles Chargers thing I keep seeing?
Yeah.
Oh, it must be some sort of special thing for this week. All right, go Chargers.
Yeah. The only thing more embarrassing was probably the number of 49ers fans that were at the Rams game, because that was also
I think it's
horrible.
gonna be really fun when they open up that brand new stadium and it has 80,000 seats and it's 70,000 Steeler fans who show up. Just like everyone's just like, yeah, I'll go to California for a weekend. Why not?
Yeah, again, it's the kind of place where
I could fly into LAX, get a hotel nearby, and get to the game, and I don't have to do anything else. I'll be like all contained right there.
the Inglewood Stadium is closer to LAX than it is to us.
Yeah.
It's easier for you to stay at a Days Inn at the airport and go to the game than it is for us to go to the game.
Yes.
That is really dumb. Why would you put a stadium? I mean, that's why you put a stadium there, I guess, because you know.
Well, I mean,
your
I
team
guess
sucks.
the logic that they would have for us is that we would take the metro.
Oh no, we're not going to those games anyway. That's the logic. It's like nobody in LA is going to these games. Let's just make it for the visiting fans who are coming in.
It's like when the Yankees open up their new stadium and it's just like, hey, I have a great idea. Let's make the exact same stadium all over again, only put it through the veneer of capitalism.
Yes.
And then when the loyal fans come looking for bleacher seats, we'll raise the price of them to $95 each.
Yes, and if it's possible,
We'll laugh our way to the bank.
let's make those bleachers less comfortable than the original bleachers.
And obstructed view. We'll just put up a big fucking wall in their face. Fuck them.
You know what? Fuck them. That's why. Yes.
New York Yankees baseball. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, sir, I see that there are about 100 seats down below home base. My son and I, we get to one game a year because that's all I can afford. Do you think that we could... No!
As a meager shoe shine, I only allow myself one baseball game a year.
No, you can't move.
I
No.
save all year for the opportunity to pay $10 to see the Toronto Blue Jays.
You stay... Not Toronto, because Toronto's a division game, so which one is a...
No, those are
Non-division
probably non-selling tickets.
Oh, maybe,
even
okay.
for the division. Like,
So, yeah. Well, you could drive from... Oh, wait, no fans. Anyway, so, yeah. But, you stay in your bleacher seat where you belong, Pori, okay? That's where you are.
speaking of baseball,
Yes.
we might as well recap what's going on in the postseason right now.
Yes.
For which games I've not watched probably any of them.
Yep. Highlights on Twitter.
I saw the
He
highlights.
knows.
It's amazing how much I stopped caring about baseball when the Orioles aren't good. Like,
Yeah,
it just this whole season felt lost to me. But the shocker to some, the Dodgers were eliminated on a grand slam in the 10th inning against the Nationals, who've never won a playoff series up until last week.
Forgetting, of course, that Clayton Kershaw also gave up
Two of those
back-to-back
home runs,
home runs in the 8th inning. So
that Juan Soto blast too. That looked. I hate to use this term because it makes it sound like I have some sort of beef against him, or like that I think that he's doing something illicit. But it sort of had that Canseco feel to it.
Yeah.
You remember when like Canseco used to it looked like he was just swinging as hard as he could and hoping the baseball would be there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to aim. Just I'm hitting this. I'm swinging as hard as I can.
But it was just like one of those like high uppercut kind of like swings, and it's just like I don't know. It felt very Canseco-y to me. Probably because Juan Soto is really good and has outrageous bat speed.
Yeah. Luckily, he didn't later let a ball hit him in the top of the head and bounce over the fence for a home run. So. Not totally Canseco material.
Or narc on everybody in front of
going for the Congress. But wait, there's time for that, okay? Just don't call that too early.
He shows up to Congress, pulls the same. He says, I don't really speak English very good. So
I wrote down names. Just everyone with yes.
It's like, have you ever taken steroids? Okay.
Do you know anyone who's taken steroids? Yes, I know many people. Here, his list.
Do you play baseball? Baseball?
Yes. Anyway, Dodgers are out. And it was immediately
after losing 100 games in the regular season.
Winning 100 games.
Oh, that's right.
Winning 100 games.
Yeah.
The Orioles are the ones who lost 100 games in this season.
Oh, the pain is back.
Dodgers won 100 games.
It's the big one.
And we're eliminated by the Nationals in the first round of the playoffs. It is amazing, too. I know that I've transitioned to LA person because my Facebook feed was so much like Dodgers baseball and then immediately nothing on Facebook at all. But also I know that no one from Maryland is actually a Nationals fan because I saw nothing about the Nationals whatsoever. So, yeah. Good for us.
Fuck the Nationals.
But this leaves the MLB in an interesting place where the furthest west team available for the World Series is the Houston Astros.
Yeah, they play in the American League West.
They do, and they are technically west of the Mississippi.
Yeah, it all counts.
As are the St. Louis Cardinals. As we pointed out in the pre-show meeting, the Cardinals play at Busch Stadium, which is apparently a literal stone's throw from the Mississippi, but on the west side. So it is west of the Mississippi. And let's pretend
and your goddamn technicalities.
Let's pretend the Mississippi cuts the country in half and not just into a third and 2/3.
Yeah.
That matters. But yeah, so Yankees.
I'd be interested to know what the population of east of the Mississippi and west of the Mississippi is.
Oh, I am 100% sure we can find that.
Because it feels like that might actually kind of be even. Because you got a lot of big cities on the west side, but you got the bigger cities on the east of the Mississippi, you know?
I have a 2011 statistic.
That's probably the last time they did the census, so that's probably about as good as we're going to get.
Look at you. Look at the big brain on Brad. Yes, the 26 states east of the Mississippi, in addition to Washington, D.C., but not including small portions of Louisiana and Minnesota, which technically are east of the river, had an estimated population of 179,948,346, or 58.28% of the total population, excluding Puerto Rico. So there are 308,745,358 people at the time, 179.95 million of which were east of the Mississippi, meaning that no, that is not representative because half of the people live west of the Mississippi.
Geography ball.
Yes. So I think the bigger point is the big market teams are kind of out.
What are you talking? It's the Yankees, the Astros, the Cardinals, and the Nationals.
Yes. So
New York is the biggest media market.
Right. We got
Houston. Houston is the fourth largest city in the country.
But media market wise, it's in the top 50, but not the top 25.
Still the fourth biggest city in the country.
Okay. You just said media market though. My point is, what's going to be on TV?
It's just slightly smaller than LA.
What are people in the second largest city in the country by population in metro area, not in true area, going to be watching during the World Series? because it ain't going to be the World Series. Who in LA is going to be watching the World Series when it's on?
I mean, I feel like it's one of those things like when it goes wrong, like when you can't, when your team's out, you stop caring.
When keeping it real goes wrong? Yeah. No, it's like, listen, the latest game time start will be 5 p.m. West. Unless they hold the game really late, but that's
well, they
really
usually
dumb.
start like the big games at 8 so that they
8 Eastern.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's every World Series.
No, because if it's played in LA, we get like I guess we do get a 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we get
time.
a 5 o'clock start time.
Yeah, that sucks. Being on the West Coast sucks.
Yeah, nobody cares about the West Coast sports.
Fuck you guys.
Maybe that's why we get such a bad rap.
Yeah. Or maybe that's why the teams are bad, because they have to play at fucking 9 o'clock in the goddamn morning.
Fly east and play at 9 o'clock in the morning.
And why there's no fans. Like, listen, I'd love to be a Rams fan, but, 8 times a year I have to watch them at 9 a.m. Listen, asshole, I have to watch it at 9 a.m. every goddamn week.
Unless they're in prime time. Then I can do it from the comfort of my home.
Or playing on the West Coast when we'll get a late game. Anyway, yes. So they're out. More importantly, there is more important sports news to be had this week. The OTA Bowl was last week. And Cory didn't want to talk about it. And why didn't he want to talk about it? Because he knew what was happening. He knew it was going to be a repeat of the greatest performance ever.
Or we recorded on Saturday before almost anybody played.
Yes. Also, I didn't care about it because I had 45 points after Thursday night. And I was like, I don't care who I'm playing. I'm winning this week. And unless, they leave 50 points on the bench.
And that was the kicker in the bench. I had Will Fuller, who scored 53 points, all on my bench.
Yes. Which would have almost negated my Thursday night. Because I had a player. I had a player who scored 40 on Thursday night, plus a kicker.
And that was two people who totaled 40.
No, I had 45 total, and the kicker was like 46, and then I had 38 and 4 and 6 or 7 or something like that. So, nonetheless, I was pretty set after Thursday night. I didn't even check who I was playing. Didn't care. I'm winning this week. It's fine. Until Sunday when the chat blew up with like, oh my God, who has Will Fuller? The points he's putting up right now are ridiculous. And then pause, because he's on set. Yeah. And then Cory is like, God damn it. Because he was on the bench. And at one point we realized that Cory had 75 points on the field and 75 points on his bench.
Yeah.
So not a good week when those are the numbers that you're putting up. I think that was midday Sunday.
I'll say this, though. And I think this is what keeps us coming back to fantasy football. Mm-hmm. There's always some sort of excuse you can make in your mind as to why I should have beaten Rob and why I broke it down. Like, if I would have started Will Fuller instead of Cortland Sutton, which is what I ended up doing in the flex spot, then I would have been plus 30-something points because the difference was like 50 to 20, which is like normally getting 20 points from the person you put on your flex is a pretty good deal. But
I love, by the way, the
50
people
on your bench.
The people who don't understand the analytics of it. Who
Yeah.
You would have had 50 more points. Like, no, bitch. I got 20 from the person who was there, which is ridiculous.
There is a way in a best ball league where I would have beaten Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would have taken the 0 points from Mike Evans out of my lineup and put in the 53 from Will Fuller. But, the problem is that, we don't, when fantasy, we don't use the logical part of our brain.
Yeah.
Where we say that,
there's no way Mike Evans.
Or, I wake up on a Sunday morning, I'm just like, do I feel like benching Mike Evans in the second pick in my draft for Will Fuller, who has been very disappointing up until this point?
I think he was averaging 6 points. Maybe?
He went from I can't remember the exact numbers, so bear with me. This is hyperbolic, but he went from the 77th ranked receiver for a season going into the game, and then left the 15th receiver for the season.
That's what one good week will do.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we were both discussing this outside, the number of times where you put up 170 points and get beat by somebody who has 180, and you're just like, what am I even supposed to do?
Well, and I think I'm 2-3 now in my work league and 3-2 in the posse league, and the losses I have, I put up 120. And I still lose. And it's just like, oh, well, you had 180 this week. There's nothing I can do about that. And then I squeak out a win where I get 104 and the guy I'm playing gets 99, and you're just like, I was not expecting that to happen, but hey, I'll take the win. You just never know. It's feast and famine. That's the way it works. The horrible part about fantasy is not being in control of your destiny in a lot of ways. Somebody did tell me this week, though, by the way, that the daily fantasy, like, you remember when, God,
Like FanDuel?
FanDuel,
Yeah.
where it doesn't matter who you have. It's like me picking my best lineup. It is more rewarding, but also more tragic because you're like, I don't care who you have. I can pick my own team and get my dream team together.
Right.
But then when it like flunks, like when you take Mike Evans and you're like, Fuller, why would I ever put him on my team? And then you're just like sitting there with like,
But I mean, like, you do have a
Scotch and gum
cap
your
in
hand.
those things. It's not just like,
you can't put
I'm going to
together the
take
best
Patrick Mahomes and Ezekiel Elliott and Saquon Barkley. I mean, you could, but you'd have like literally the worst wide receiving core
Well, and
in the history of football.
to be fair, that might be the league where you're like, you know what? I'll take a risk on Will Fuller because I've already overspent a bit, and he's due. He's due for 50 points, maybe. I don't know.
The other thing is the amount of times that like I looked at my roster and was just like, I really need some security at another position, and I'm so bereft of talent.
Yes.
And I'm just like, do I dare drop Will Fuller? I'm like, he's been terrible this season.
Are you thinking about dropping him? Because
no,
I got
it's-
a trade. I got a trade offer if you're looking.
There was a moment there where I was thinking like I have to drop a wide receiver, and then I was thinking about like, do I drop Will Fuller prior to the 53 points? Obviously,
I got a really reliable LaShawn McCoy from Kansas City. He's putting up 11, 12 a week, responsibly every single week. And I mean, Fuller seems very, very,
very
boom bust.
flash in the pan.
Yeah. You never took this week. He'll probably put up 6.
Well, I mean, like, and sometimes that works out. Sometimes you trade Will Fuller for something stupid, and then he like tears his ACL next week.
Yeah,
which is not
no.
outside of the realm of possibility.
This is why I don't trade anymore in leagues because I have the worst luck. Every time I make a trade, the guy gets injured.
I used to have the thing with the in baseball. Tim Lincecum would have his worst seasons when I drafted him. Just like he just came off of 3 consecutive Cy Youngs. Why am I not why am I not making it my first overall
Tommy John.
pick?
That's it. All right.
No, not even Tommy John. It's just like you just like look every single week at the box score and you're just like Tim Lincecum, 2.5 innings pitched, 9 runs,
Yeah.
0 strikeouts, 7 walks. You're just like, oh man, he had a really bad day. Thank God we got that one out of the way early, and then
Yep.
it's just that every single week, and you're just like, oh my God,
Season
do
ERA.
I cut him? Like
Season ERA 35. You're like, oh my God.
you do that, you do the buyer's remorse of like, well, I spent a 2nd round pick on him, I can't just drop him.
Oh, by the way, my
I'm gonna look like a real idiot when I drop him, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, by the way, did you know he had a pebble in his shoe this entire time?
yeah, funny. You got it out. Now
We literally just took off his shoe, shook it out, and we're just like,
Cy Young again.
Cy Young's come back.
The rules of my work league, you cannot cut your 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round draft.
Oh, really?
And I was just like, I should have read this ahead of time. I was way too cavalier with my choices, knowing that I can't cut them at all. What if somebody gets injured?
Here comes Antonio Brown with the first overall pick.
I would've taken him.
Motherfucker.
I still would have taken him. At the time, it made a lot of sense. I don't know.
Man,
Anyway.
a friend of mine on set, like,
There is a rat in your unit that is a fact.
Oh, shit. I played I didn't even mean to
The-
Yeah, you had a rat in your unit? Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
guy on set came up to me because he knew I play fantasy because we talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, I drafted Antonio Brown with my 3rd pick. And I'm just like, dude, in your mind, you got to just treat it like you drafted somebody and they like tore their ACL.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just got to be like
He tore his brain
he
somehow.
tore his brain muscle. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for sports ball. Let us
So where do you want to start?
try
on
and
this
work
list?
through the news here a little bit because we already spent a lot more time on sports ball than I thought we planned.
Yeah, it looks a lot longer than I think it actually is, though.
Yeah.
Because we can only tab over one spot, and some of these are subs of subs. So
Mm-hmm.
let's just start at the very top here with how about Ronan Farrow?
Okay.
We were listening to that on the podcast on the way over. So
Yeah. So NBC News is finding itself in a little bit of hot water because Ronan Farrow just released a book that talks a lot about him getting shut down constantly by NBC when investigating the Harvey Weinstein story.
Yeah. Basically trying everything to be like, hey, we've done the research, we've confirmed sources. I just want you to come along with me on this adventure. And then being like, nah, we're good.
And now there being like a paper trail of them being like, we're in business, Harvey Weinstein. We can't. And like the stories of like CBS, like Les Moonves, like hearing about other people falling and being like, woo, survive another week.
All right.
If it was me, I would just take that as my like, it's time for me to hit the old dusty trail.
That's the thing I don't understand is like, if you're Les Moonves and like, I could just get that golden parachute and roll out. And every week I'm rolling the dice. The parachute's not getting any bigger. It's just like, what, you get your job for another week? No, man. Pull the cord and jump.
And
Get the money.
there were opportunities there along the way where he probably could have just walked into Sherry Redstone's office and just been like, you know
Let's
what?
settle this bitch.
Kind of thinking about just going to an island for the rest of my life. You wanna make me an offer? And then she'd just be like, do I?
Tell me what it's gonna
Get
take.
the CBS Viacom thing back to yes. Let's do it.
For those of you who don't remember, like he was one of the voices who was blocking the
Yeah.
re-merger of the two. You had all the leverage, you idiot.
His business prowess was so exceptional that like judges were listening to him over the family members.
Yeah.
Who like
Literally, all it would have taken is go into
it's just like
Sherry's
Sumner
office.
Redstone is dying. Who do I trust? His daughter, who should inherit this company, should he die,
Yes.
or the guy who's been running it pretty well? And it's just like I don't know. I just trust this Les Moonves guy.
Really good. He sounds really smart. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. But he literally could have gone to Sherry's office and been like, make me an offer, or been like, here are my terms.
Yeah,
As it rolls out on the floor, buy me an island. Build me a house on this island.
Yeah.
I would like a boat ramp and internet and whatever.
Yeah.
And then be like, when all of these are completed, I will walk into the next hearing and all of a sudden have a change of heart. This company should be yours. And it probably would have wrapped up that whole thing a lot faster.
oh for sure.
And instead, he was like, you know what? Roll the dice. I survived one more week. Double or nothing. Let's do this. Let's do this.
As soon as Me Too became a movement, like as soon as like the name became a thing, I'd just be like, you know,
seems like it's just about that time.
seems like this is something that's going to continue on for a little while. Maybe I should.
I mean, like, but Me Too was a movement before Harvey fell. It was just like people were like, "We know you did this, Harvey." And he was still getting backed by Miramax. Was not Miramax, but whatever his new thing, a Weinstein company.
Yeah.
Still had him working in the office, and Les is over there like, "Nah, it's gonna blow over. It'll be fine. I will survive this." Yeah. How about this? Get a check so big from Sherry Redstone that if it does blow over, you can come back and start your own goddamn network. How about that? Yeah. Because I bet you she would have paid that just to get done and get the whole company back.
I think there's. I just don't get like. I myself do not do anything that would put me in the Me Too crosshairs where I'm like worried about. He's putting me.
Just, I want this on record for later when
you don't want your video to be siphoned with mine. No, I mean like
I'm just imagining this video right now. Everybody can see your face here right now. With the 60 Minutes logo in the bottom left as they replay this.
And my social media info. Thank God. No. You sure you don't want to go to the 2 shots so people can see you dying?
You would have that Instagram, that Twitter will be down way before that. It'll be onto the tertiary.
Weird. I thought Cory had more than 0 tweets.
Yeah, see, he's smart. As soon as he sniffs out a little trouble, it'll just be like delete, delete, delete the whole thing. I'm just burning it. Anyway, but yes, go ahead.
Les Moonves who?
Let me show you how we handle things in the biz, Les. All right. Anyway, but yeah.
Your new name is Daryl Morey. Don't cause any trouble.
It really comes down to. By the way, have you seen El Camino yet?
No.
We watched it last night. It's really good. You should watch it.
I'm gonna watch it.
You should watch it.
I started. Okay, hold on. Sidebar.
Okay.
Because I was excited about El Camino, I asked Roberto if he had seen Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And he said no.
Of course
and
not.
I'm just like, why? Like,
Because Friends needed to be watched another time, Cory.
so I told him to start watching it, and he did. Ugh. And now he's like, 3 episodes in or whatever. But he was literally 5 minutes into the first episode. Mm-hmm. Like, if for those, I'm not really spoiling anything.
All right,
here.
spoiler alert if you haven't seen Breaking Bad
if you
5 years ago.
If you care about an inconsequential thing about the first episode of Breaking Bad,
Walter White starts making meth.
Walt makes like here's the sirens coming towards his meth lab.
Yes.
And it makes a little video testimonial for his family, and then stands in the middle of the street with a gun in his underwear, like waiting for the police to arrive.
Yes.
And Roberto pauses it like right after that, looks at me and says, "Tell me what happened, sir. I'm going to stop watching the show right now." Just like, motherfucker. We're not even 5 minutes in.
He's the worst.
And then like the worst is like how many times he like he's like, "I'm gonna stop watching this show immediately if you don't tell me who just called Alicia right now in The Good Wife." And I'm just like, really? This is the hill you're going to die on? And then he's just like, "Yeah, tell me." And I'm just like, it's her mother. Like it's gonna be like a little C plot in this episode, and it means nothing.
Yeah.
And you just made this big, huge stink over nothing.
Here's the thing. Whenever he does that to me, I'm like, all right, don't watch it anymore. Now, you were going to be the guy 5 years, 10 years from now who's like, they're like, well, season 3 on Breaking Bad. Yeah, Gil. And he's just like, no. Who? What? I didn't watch Breaking Bad. And then you get to be like either the really cool person who's like, I've never seen an episode of Breaking Bad at all. Or wait, Game of Thrones. I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones because it's not really my thing. I don't watch it. Assholes. You're all assholes. Point being.
I've never watched an episode of Game of Thrones.
Yes. Or I've never seen Star Wars because I just don't get it.
I watched the first one twice. Does that count for anything?
No. I'm not smart enough to understand Star Wars or Game of Thrones, so I'm just going to pretend that I don't like it.
Anywho, speaking of Star Wars, Disney Plus.
Wait. So watch El Camino. More importantly, back to the original story here, which is Ronan Farrow.
Yeah.
I think it's very funny. It comes down to Les and Harvey and everybody is just narcissism. Those guys are like, no,
I'm never going to be caught.
It's never going to be me. And they do. More importantly, it's narcissism on narcissism because then it's guys at NBC, at CBS, everywhere who are just like, yeah, you know what? This story, it doesn't have legs. They've killed stories before. And I don't want to be the guy caught without a chair when the music stops.
Yeah.
So, no, we're not going to do it. And God bless Ronan Farrow and the Wall Street Journal. They're just like, nah, fuck it. Let's just do it.
New Yorker.
Yeah.
fuck it, let's just do it. We'll see what happens. It can't get any worse. What's he going to do? He's threatening to sue us already, which means it's probably pretty accurate. And we fact-checked the whole thing, right? Cool. Let's just do it. And they did. So good for them. And we're better off for it.
I imagine that tomorrow might be interesting in Hollywood because it feels like they've leaked enough things about the book to make it interesting to like get the numbers up there.
Yep.
But I think there's some tidbits they've been holding back on, and then it's just going to be people who read it tomorrow who find out that like,
oh, the boss that you have been serving dutifully for a while was actively hiding things.
holy shit, Donald Trump is accused of sexual assault.
That won't be the headline.
Hannity never told me about this.
First of all, somebody in Hollywood watching Hannity, that's funny. Second of all, Donald Trump being surprised that he's been charged with sexual harassment, also funny. Many layered joke.
I imagine that somewhere within Hollywood, there has to be a percentage of people who hate watch Fox News and maybe in like a sexually perverse kind of way.
Like they get off from it?
Yeah, like,
Wow.
like, yeah, you're so fucking wrong all the time.
I'm imagining that someone has a Michael Jackson-esque room in their house where you have to walk through 4 locked doors, and then they get their laptop, which has never been attached. Oh, no, I guess you couldn't do that. Get
The
a TV.
air sealed.
Yeah, get a TV that is on a different cable account, not in your name, that comes to the house, only on this one cord that you've run all the way into this room, which they then throw a blanket over their heads and over the TV. And that's where they quietly watch Hannity with an direct headphone set into the TV so that no one can tell. Only one headphone though,
And a
wits
tablet
about
on their lap so they can go on 4chan.
you. Yeah.
I love Sean Hannity so much. Oh, fucking we'll do it live.
All right. Anyway, but yes, everybody should check out the book. I'm probably not going to read it. I'm probably just going to hear. I don't have time. I'll probably just see what people say on Twitter.
I bought yet another book where I said to myself, like, I'm going to read this.
Yeah, how
And
far
then
are you in that book?
I haven't opened it yet.
Oh, okay.
I just got it this weekend, and I have been busy. But I'm the idea was like I have to knock out this, and this, and as soon as I'm done with that, I have time to read. And then I'm just like, that book is never gonna be fucking read.
Nope.
I already know it's not.
I'm just gonna go ahead and get it on Audible, and I'll or not Audible. I said Audible yesterday. What's the other thing? The book on Amazon. It's like digital version of the book.
Audiobook?
No, not audio though. Like digital, where you read it
Oh, like Kindle version?
like a Kindle, but not
Yeah.
a Kindle. Fuck. Hey, there's a website that does it. I don't know. Anyway, we have it at work, so I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna see if
Nook?
I can find it on there. It's like Nook
Your
is
little
Barnes and
Nook
Noble,
book?
right? Yeah.
Little book?
Anyway, not important. So, what is important is that Disney Plus, the full like catalog has been rolled out, and dear God in heaven, like literally everything is available on there. Did you see the full list?
No, I saw that they went on like a little tweet storm
Yeah.
talking about all the things.
Do you remember the TV show Gargoyles?
Do I?
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's on there.
Okay.
All 5 seasons of the
The
cartoon.
original one?
The original cartoon. of
Thank God,
Gargoyles.
because I don't want them remaking all these.
Well, actually, they did remake it, and the remake is available. But the important thing is that the original 1990s one is on there, as well as a lot of cartoons that are beloved. Darkwing Duck
Yep.
will be available on there. DuckTales. Tailspin? Is Jungle Book a Disney property? It is. Yeah, because they didn't. Yeah, so Tailspin will be on there. Like all. I will basically be able to just smoke a bowl and pretend I'm 13 years old. All right. That's probably a little old. I don't want to admit that. Pretend I'm 7 years old again.
I'll be able to smoke a bowl in
And pretend that I'm 7 years old again and just like grab some Cheetos and watch DuckTales, followed by Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, followed by Tailspin, followed by Darkwing Duck, and it'll be a summer motherfucking afternoon. 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. in my tidy whities on my couch.
I'll smoke some pot and go see Kevin Smith's new film like a fucking adult.
Yeah. So
Go to Giant Silent Bob reboot with my suit and tie.
I originally said I was out on Disney
Going to
Plus.
the office.
Originally said I was out on Disney Plus. I might not be out on Disney Plus. Here's what I'm actually now thinking about getting Disney Plus. By the way, also getting the Regal subscription, which means I will have 2 movie subscriptions.
Are you gonna do both?
AMC and Regal?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. It's a thing. I know. So
But isn't
2
Regal
theater.
just like 3 movies?
No, bruh, no.
Did they up their ante?
Unlimited, multiple a day if you want to go to multiple a day. And the one limitation AMC has is you can only see the same movie twice, no matter the format. No blocks. I can see Joker every single day in whatever format they have if I want to see it. Now I can't see the same movie twice in one day, but you can see the same movie over and again. So, and it's convenient because it's downtown. If AMC put a theater downtown, or in Hollywood for that matter, I'd be down.
Yeah.
But I got nothing near me except for the Regal here.
AMC really is avoiding like the major metroplex.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it's killing me. And
Probably part of their business model, like
I will probably have Regal.
suburbs work better or something like that.
I'll have Regal right up until they Alamo gets their unlimited monthly subscription.
See,
which
I
I'll
thought the
then
Regal
increase.
one too was like you had to like basically sign up for the year ahead of time.
So I think when they originally announced it, they got a little pushback, and I got an email that was just like, "Hey, so don't forget to sign up." And I read through it, and I'm like, "This is not what I remember the original thing being."
Yeah.
So I think they made some changes, and now they're rolling it out a second time.
Gotcha.
But let's keep track. Now I will have 2 movie theater subscription services, as well as HBO, Hulu, Netflix,
Amazon.
Amazon. Is that all?
I think so.
Plus Spotify.
Yeah.
Don't have Apple Music. Not interested. But when I add all of these things up, plus Google Play, which I rent probably once a month on Google Play. Amazon rental probably once a month as well, because I don't own DVDs. I used to own DVDs. Now they all live at Corey's house.
I was looking for.
They fill in the space of
Yeah,
my other.
I was looking for
DVDs.
Fight Club and I could not find it. And I was like, "Fuck, did I leave Fight Club?" But no, it's here. It's on this shelf.
I think there's multiple copies of Fight Club. Probably
Yeah.
one for you and one for me.
Yeah, but it's
You
probably
probably
better.
just have like the regular old DVD while I have the Blu-ray special edition.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
Because in the spirit of Fight Club,
That's
I
a good way to.
wouldn't-
That's
I
a good way to
wouldn't buy
figure
that.
out whose movie is who.
Oh yeah. Or also, if the Blu-ray case is empty, it was probably Corey's that was stolen by some heroin addicts.
Oh my
Years.
god.
There's the knife. Deep in again. Anyway, so
Flash forward to a story we're going to talk about later. I can literally tell the police the people who did the crime. I can tell you where they can find them. They won't do shit.
anyway,
They won't try and stop my shit from being sold. Important shit to me.
my point is, I cut the cable.
Meanwhile, Rob jokes about a gun on Twitter and Baltimore County cops show up to my city apartment.
No. City cops showed up to the county gym that I went to, and then county cops showed up to the city apartment we lived in because they didn't talk to each other. They expended resources across the lines of the county. Just ridiculous. I joked about a gun to a guy who lived halfway around the world, who, by the way, licensed gun, not owner, but licensed gun holder.
He was a military member.
He was also a licensed gun holder. We are two gun license holders joking about guns on Twitter. I do not understand this country. That was also 5 years
Right.
ago. All right, my point is, I cut the cord, like 3-4 years ago now?
Yeah.
And I think with this, I will have officially surpassed any cable package I ever had with how much I pay per month for subscriptions. So thank you, cord cutters, because you couldn't let us early adopters just have it. Now you're murdered us.
I do think that even if I end up paying the same amount, I just prefer the way I get to watch content
Yeah.
as opposed to having cable. Because like even with DVR and shit like that, I still feel like it wasn't the same as me going like, I need to watch El Camino tonight, and like I go through the interface to find the thing I.
Well, you don't have to go through the interface. If you just turn on Netflix, it will be the
Yeah.
very first
Start
suggestion that they
playing.
throw in your face. So, anyway.
I want to watch Great British Baking Show. El Camino started.
Like, no, I went the Greatest British Baking Show. All right, deep in the menus. Here I go.
I can't watch this. I've never seen Breaking Bad. Oh, well, here's Breaking Bad episode 1.
So I will say, watch the recap because you have forgotten probably a lot of what I forgot.
Yeah.
And the recap is basically the last season of Breaking Bad, but it's just like hits the major points so that when it opens, you're like, I feel like I just finished watching Breaking Bad. It doesn't give everything. It doesn't take the time to do everything, but it's enough that you're like, oh, right. Then that happened. Oh, and here's the next thing that happened.
I'd be interested to see if I can finish all 5 seasons of Breaking Bad tomorrow.
I mean, they're hour-long episodes,
Yeah.
and there's 5 seasons.
Yeah.
So 12 episodes.
Maybe I can just watch them at 1.5 speed. Like
Like a podcast. By the way,
we need to talk about all you slow talking motherfuckers, by the way, in podcast world.
Yeah.
I whenever I get in the car with Rachel, she demands that I put it on 1.
Same thing. Drives me insane.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I start listening to a podcast with some guy going like, well, you know the reason why the Clippers are having such a hard time with season ticket holders.
Pause. Here's what I do. I pause and I start talking while I slowly click up and like 1.1, 1.2, play. Let it play a little bit. Pause. Yeah, this is a really good point. I think you should really listen to this. 0.3, 0.4. And I see how high I can get it before they really notice the speed. At 1.9, it's really noticeable, but it's just unbearable at 1 speed.
Yeah.
Unbearable. And I had to go all the way to Long Beach.
And like just the amount of time you waste. Like that's the thing. Like I can churn out an hour-long podcast in 40 minutes.
And if you are using Pocket Cast, which you absolutely should, you can find our podcast on Pocket Cast. You can do the cut silences and the thing where it actually cuts out even more. You can do an hour-long podcast if you skip the ads, which why not? Because we don't have ads, so who cares? And if you cut out the intro and the outro once you memorize how long they are.
I
you can get it down to like 30
only
minutes.
cut out one intro
What's that?
on all the podcasts I listen to. You want to guess the one podcast that I cut out the intro for? It's one that I know
Bill
we
Simmons.
both listen to it.
Oh, that we both listen to. I don't know what ones we both listen to anymore. I don't think we both listen to any. Script Notes?
No,
Yeah.
on the page.
I don't listen on the page anymore.
Because
Because you know what I found out?
What?
She's never gotten a screenplay made.
Yeah.
She has never had a screenplay purchased.
Yeah.
She had 10 failures and then became a teacher, which is
Well, that's-
basically
that's
Gary V.
Basically
Gary
how.
V. Fuck Gary V. No, fuck Gary V. He's not who he says he is. He was born rich and then made a little more money and became this like, yeah, I know the secret. No, bitch, your secret to success was your daddy made a bunch of money and he gave you a business that was already successful. Great. And then you figured out YouTube. Okay.
I think that I think some people you can learn things from without taking everything that they say like as gospel.
To be
like,
fair.
I don't like worship at the altar of Gary V.
Yes.
But you know, there's a time where he'll have somebody interesting on that I want to hear what they have to say. And then he'll ask some sort of insightful question that normal people don't ask because Gary V is very like forward thinking and like
Has all the time in the
his
world.
cut
to
the
think of
bullshit
questions.
kind of questions are good for like all I really want at the end of the day, because you watch so many interviews where it's the same, like, you know, like asking Joaquin Phoenix, like, how'd you lose all the weight for the Joker? Like, there's probably 10,000 versions of people asking him that question. I would rather it be like, when you first started creating this character, who were you thinking about? Like, what was the first thing by which you iterated off of when you were starting to create the character?
And I will
And
say,
then I would just like to let him like, you know, like go like, well, there was this kid I knew in high school, and he was kind of like,
and that sounds amazing. And again, caveat is I don't listen to every episode of On the Page. I go into the episode, I see what she's talking about, and if I really feel like it's something I'm gonna pick up,
Yeah.
But I used to religiously listen to every single one.
Right.
Gary V, I don't listen to it all because fuck Gary V. But I do have a new podcast that's gonna come soon that you really should want to check out.
oh yeah,
Yeah, it's about oh fuck, it is
every man Gary V.
No. Shit. You just fucked my shit up. It's called The Tao of Fuck It. Daniel McAllister, new podcast coming. You guys should get excited about this. It's about how to embrace your life. It's like, I can't remember what fuck it stands for. It's something in understanding, compassion and kindness, something thoughtfulness. Anyway, it's very big. It's very important.
Insightfulness,
We've got insightfulness and thoughtfulness. Yes, there's this whole focus on twos and how you can change your life by focusing on changing the next 2 days and the next 2 weeks and the next 2 months. It's amazing. You're not gonna want to miss it. Check it out.
Skipping ahead a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know who this fucking Daniel McAllister guy is, but
He's got a really good book out too. You should check that out too.
maybe it's the same guy who played Mr. E in the Love. What was that show on
the
VH1?
pickup artist?
The pickup artist. Real name Daniel McAllister. Looks like McLovin.
I've met that guy.
Oh, have you?
Yes. So he has a new life. He does ad sales.
Oh, does he?
Yes, and he has.
Does he
a
still
YouTube
have a lot of
channel.
rings?
No, he's not so many rings anymore. Yeah, he's. But he actually, in real life, super nice guy.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure.
The problem is once you realize who he is, then it's like going to a psychic. It's like, I'm going to be on edge about everything you say because I don't know if you're putting me on or not. Like, is this more of that, like...
All of a sudden you get like a little shoulder, like, hey, bud.
Like, hey, whoa, babe. Hey, babe.
I ain't falling for your
We're
tricks.
here for a sale. I don't need your soft touch. We're just numbers. That's what we're here for. Anyway.
Takes off his slash hat. Let's talk business.
I do want to talk a little bit about Trump. Let's jump down to the Trump news.
Well, real quick,
Yes.
super quick.
Okay.
Can you fill people in on Amber Guyger? God
Amber
damn
Guyger.
it.
So yeah,
just because we were talking about this 3 weeks ago when nobody was talking about it.
yes.
And then it's slowly become more and more of a story.
Yes.
And now this latest plot twist in the tale is something I haven't really seen before. Or
Yeah,
like not
so-
in a while like this.
Amber Guyger, the police officer in Dallas or Austin, one or the other, Texas, somewhere in Texas.
I think it was Dallas.
Dallas. And she shot her apparently ex-boyfriend who entered her apartment at night. She said she was tired. Come to find out during the trial, she had literally 2 minutes before texted her partner to say, hey, I'm amped. Let's go to the bar. And so that was a lie. And anyway, she got convicted and was given 10 years for a murder, which is a very police-like sentence to get.
Yeah.
But at least she got jail time. She'll probably serve 3.5 in the end. But
there was a very key witness in that trial who talked about her relationship with him and how that relationship had regressed. And basically, and I am paraphrasing, do not put these words in that man's mouth, said, she is a crazy bitch. And I don't know how she stayed a cop for so long. She must have hid the crazy, because the crazy shit she did, I can't imagine they would have allowed her to have a gun. And basically set the tone for the jury that, like, when you see her crying, I would not believe that she was actually upset about it. She will do this to I saw her do it to him. Like, this is what she does. She manipulates people. Anyway, so that guy got shot. Strangely, a week after the trial, shot and killed. And it wasn't suicide, so it's not Sean Suiter-like. But it is Sean Suiter-like in so much as allegedly the weapon was of the same caliber as carried by police officers.
Oh.
And, you know, he did just testify against a police officer. And there has been much hay made about, like, he was never into criminal stuff. He was only a witness, really, because he knew this guy, who, by the way, the victim, Botham Jean, also not into criminal stuff, very much an upstanding citizen. So these two guys who have no connection to crime, one gets murdered by a cop and the other gets murdered by ? And the police are basically like, we're going to put the full force of our department behind this, and there are no leads. So strange.
Interesting.
Yeah, strange about that. So nonetheless, I think it's just an interesting thing that we'll see develop. And I'm wondering if in a few weeks we're going to get like turns out the gun that shot him was later used, or was earlier used, in another crime, which, by the way, we've learned from the GTTF is they take
drop
a gun,
yeah.
They don't report it, and it becomes a drop gun on something else. This is a different version of a drop gun, which is you use a gun that you know another criminal used somewhere else, and you use it to commit a crime yourself and then leave it, or you drop it and dump it somewhere else, because then they say, oh, it must be the guy who committed that crime, not the cop who found it and didn't report it. So we'll see.
Stop snitching.
Yeah. Well, listen, no. Stop snitching against cops, but please come forward with any information you have about.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, if you see your local area drug dealer doing something unsavory, please let the police know.
No,
but if you see the police doing something unsavory, please keep it to your fucking self.
Unless your local neighborhood drug dealer is also a police officer, which is possible.
Inception.
Then you would not want to report him.
Baltimore Serpico.
If somebody is Baltimore Serpico, please do not report them while they're under investigation, okay?
Listen, they're just going to finish their career, get their 30, retire with full benefits, and then tell everybody about all the wrongdoing.
They're keeping a notebook, all right? It's not about money's owed. It's notes for the story later. Just so that's clear.
Until the day comes, when the day away from retiring, it's just like, yeah, I just bought a boat called Getting Away With It. And then all of a sudden the guy comes in and robbed the diner and just starts firing randomly. It's like, I've been shot.
Oh, they got me.
Oh, they got me.
One day from retirement.
I'm absolutely going to die. It's one day away from retirement. It's how this works. I need you to do me a favor.
I got some notes.
Do me a favor.
Snitch on that bitch.
I've been taking extensive notes about all the wrongdoing in the Baltimore Police Department over the last 30 years. I need you to go to my house. I need you to burn that motherfucking notes.
They'll kill me. If I survive this, they'll kill me.
If I'm not dead from this, I'll be dead from that.
Burn the notes for me. Yeah. Serpico.
I kind of just want to make a series called Baltimore Serpico.
Yo, I am in. I'm in. Let's do it. Let's do it. But
just every single week is about him like getting incriminating evidence and not doing anything with it.
Taking notes like, oh, so you say there's $1 million in the safe, huh? You mean 500,000?
Holy shit! Is that the Baltimore police commissioner choking a homeless guy with a rag on the street? That'll make a very compelling entry into my journal tonight.
Yeah, the journal is the letter I'm going to write him.
WJZ calls him, just like, hey, any interesting crimes you want to talk about? Nope, nothing. Nope.
Got nothing for you. Nope. But yeah, any interest? No interest. No, thanks. Yeah. So anyway, Kamish, I got this video of you choking the shit out of a dude. on the street. What's that worth to you?
I think I'd
some
like to be the head of major crimes.
No. That's too much responsibility. I want to put me in IA. That's the place I should go. And I'd like some overtime, please. About equal to my pay times 2. That would be great. Fantastic.
Oh, Lordy.
So speaking about killing people, getting paid for it, apparently the United States has officially crossed over into Starship Troopers territory, and I'm excited about it. Yes. Join up now, Corey. Join up now and do your part. We need to go and kill the menace.
So, just when you think... I kind of wanted to do the Dumb and Dumber thing, but it didn't work. The context didn't work, but just when
dumber
I think
than Dumb and Dumber.
just when I think you can't get any dumber, you do something like this and totally redeem yourself.
Yeah, or maybe
Except not totally redeem yourself.
this could be some version of the Tekashi 6ix9ine meme, only when he is for some reason talking about the crimes he committed that he's not yet admitted to, because Donald Trump basically admitted that in one press conference he has violated the Emoluments Clause yet again, and that's been backed up by proof now.
Yeah, and in front of reporters and cameras, and
because why not? Nothing he does matters. Also, that he is not really an Emoluments Clause violation. But
I love that Trump too. By the way, if you just had audio of Trump, there's no one who's listening to that and going like, no, that's not Donald.
Yeah. Also, there's no one listening to it who would say, 2 years ago, that's definitely the president of the United States talking, right? Like, he sounds very
presidential.
Very presidential. So, Emoluments Clause violation, where he has business relations with Turkey, and he's like, oh, we're looking into the Turkey thing. I just don't think that, what are we going to do? Declare war on Turkey? That doesn't seem like a very good result. And then later on in the same press conference, basically says, hey, I know that the whole morality of being mercenaries is kind of foggy at best.
It's not even.
It's not.
It's not even about being mercenaries per se. I mean, even though that in a
getting paid to kill people.
Dictionary definition version is
We're
what it
mercenaries.
is.
Yes, yeah.
But I'm saying the thing that upset me most. So what we're talking about is Trump has agreed to send U.S. service members.
Oh no, sir. They are already there. They are involved in this civil war, which is basically Saudi Arabia bombing the shit out of Bedouins who live in tents. And we're already there. Our drones are already dropping bombs. Our soldiers are already offering advice.
But we're not doing this because this is a U.S. interest.
No,
I mean, other than the fact that we want to be nice to the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Also oil.
Yeah.
Well,
But I'm saying, like,
Donald doesn't want to get cut up in some fucking embassy somewhere. Come on.
What Trump admitted to, though, was that Saudi Arabia is basically paying for our military to do this.
Yeah.
Which is not the purpose of the fucking military. What the?
Wait. You're telling me that those guys didn't sign up to get sent somewhere else to be paid by another government in order to kill brown people?
9/11 happens. 9/12, somebody goes in, signs up, and then 9/15, they're fighting for Saudi Arabia.
Actually, I mean, to be fair, 9/11 happens. 9/12, someone is born. 18 years later, someone signs up for the military. Now they are about to go to Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan because the fucking war is still going on.
I wonder if they literally just like pull off the patch and just put on a Saudi Arabia patch for the time being. It's
no. Because if they did that, it would be a war crime.
Oh.
But when they're an international force.
But if you're getting money for it, tricky.
No, not the money part. They're part of an international force. Mm-hmm. They're keeping the peace. And by keeping the peace, I mean using my cult peacemaker to kill you. Not really, because cult peacemaker wouldn't. I'm using my M4 to kill you, and somehow that makes peace.
I just don't understand how people could be so fucking dumb.
No, nothing he does matters. I am become every day more certain that he could walk down Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and no one would care.
Yeah.
Nothing would happen to him. But you know who doesn't have that kind of protection?
Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani. Yes.
Oh my God.
By the way, I read the indictment real quick while we were outside.
Yeah.
Ooh, there is much like the Trump indictments that came some time ago. There is an individual named in those indictments that would leave me, if I were Rudy Giuliani,
looking for a one-way flight to Geneva. You know what I mean?
It's
Vienna,
it's
sorry, Vienna.
it's Congressman Sessions,
Yes.
not to be confused with Jeff Sessions.
Yes.
But there was a Congressman, Robert Sessions or something
Yeah,
like that.
from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Who's not from the South, I don't
Who's no longer a congressman,
Yeah.
has admitted that he's Congressman 1 in these reports.
Yes.
And just like the comical nature of this story, like the Giuliani being investigated by the Southern District of New York,
Which,
that
by the way, he created the powerful office of the U.S. Attorney Southern District
Yeah.
of New York. He created that, and now it's gonna come back and get him, which is just one of the sweetest things I've ever heard. It's amazing.
he had 2 Ukrainian friends,
Mm-hmm.
who would move dirty money around
Mm-hmm.
and donate it to political action campaigns. They were quite well connected. There's videos of them with Rudy Giuliani. There is they went to George H.W. Bush's funeral, a state funeral.
Yeah.
They've met Trump multiple times.
They're keeping it on the low, Corey. All right, it's all on the DL. Nobody knows.
They had donate. I was literally trying to find the name of their like shadow corp that donated some money, which was literally like Corruption USA or something like that. Fraud Corp. Like it was so on the nose. It was fucking preposterous. And thankfully they were arrested at Dulles before they were able to take their one-way flights to Geneva. Which is exactly where I want to go.
Yes. And much like the story we talked about earlier, they played that hand a little too long. I think as soon as Mueller started talking and Congress was investigating, and we talked about Rudy Giuliani in the Southern District 2 weeks ago.
Something tells me that like 3 weeks ago, maybe they got like as soon as the Trump Ukraine thing started going, they were just like putting on their hats and packing their bags and stuff like that, and it's just like. Oh, well, we can save a little bit of money if we wait 3 weeks to fly out of Dulles. It's like, nope, they're not going to catch us that fast.
Yeah, of course not. And then they get you at the airport. So sweet. So sweet and amazing. But anyway, so Rudy Giuliani made famous the perp walk, where you take the arrested person, you let the media know, and you walk them through the media on the way into the office.
Right.
And I think it will be...
Usually with like some handcuffs in front of them or something.
Sometimes you toss a jacket across, but everybody knows when
like
this, what that is. I think it would be, so sweet for Rudy Giuliani himself to be perp walked into the Southern District of New York Attorney General's office. So we're fingers crossed for that, guys. The only thing that would be sweeter than that, guillotines. Guillotines would solve all of these problems, and I don't think we'd have to, keep coming back to it. But that's enough news out of New York.
Yeah.
Though. I'm already sick about talking about New York. You know what I really want to talk about?
The Baltimore Corner?
Of course, I want to talk about the Baltimore Corner.
Where you get the straight dope.
Right. Yes.
All right. So real quick.
Real quick.
We talked about this like 2 years ago originally.
It was 2 years ago.
And then I feel like a month ago or something like that when this story started coming back a little bit.
And I believe
we
you
talked
said,
about it then.
There's no fucking way they're going to do this. But.
So, flashback 2 years ago, there was a spy plane that nobody knew about that was flying over the city of Baltimore, tracking where everybody was going and creating intricate maps of people's movements.
Do you remember how that story got broken, by the way?
It was they wrote an article about it. Like the company that created this whole thing basically wanted like a piece like written about like how great their spy plane was, and then they hired her or they brought a reporter in, and they're just like, yeah, and like took all the notes and then just wrote a story. Go, holy shit, you're civil rights.
Yes. Quickly followed by not Kevin Rector. Who's the other guy at the Sun?
Justin Fenton.
Fenton pulling FAA reports that were just basically like the big red circles over the city.
Yeah.
And being like, so turns out here's the tail number of the plane and here's the path that it followed, and we can match that day with this report and this crime and the whole thing. And it was really good. But the funny thing is, they did it to themselves because nobody knew until they wanted press done about how well they were doing.
All right, so
amazing.
I'm sure there's going to be some people who are listening to this who maybe heard about this poll.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
74% generally support the spy plane.
Yes.
But
that's what the preachers are saying.
we here at O The Anthem decided to go a little bit deeper and figure out the exact wording of the question.
Yes.
Which I feel like is giving us a slanted result. 74% of people generally support a program to conduct aerial surveillance over the city of Baltimore to reduce serious crimes like murder.
Now, see,
Well, if it can reduce murder, I mean...
And aerial surveillance, I mean, I already see Foxtrot up there, and...
I mean, I feel like I'm being watched all the time anywho. What?
Now, wait. Is Foxtrot going to point the light directly in my window while I'm smoking pot and make me feel super paranoid? Maybe not.
In addition, 72% support a small aircraft flies over the city and provides images that track vehicles and people to and from reported crime scenes. The information is then provided to the Baltimore Police Department to help them solve crimes. An outside independent oversight group would ensure that the system is not being abused, and the program would be entirely paid for by a private donor.
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
would you be in support of purchasing a large 7-bedroom, 10-bath Hollywood Hills home with gorgeous views and an immaculate pool and a fully loaded garage and like this wine cellar that's tops in the world in exchange for only $10 American dollars?
Oh, I absolutely would.
Oh, well, it sounds like you want exactly everything for nothing.
Absolutely. I mean,
I
yes,
mean, this number one, at some point, this information is going to the Baltimore Police Department, who is incapable of, even with information, solving crimes.
Yeah. Flashback to Cory had shit stolen. He said, "Here's who stole it. This is when. Go find them here." There's nothing.
I joked before the podcast. I imagine that I could call right now and say, "Hey, I'm going to be home at Christmas time. On December 23rd at 8 p.m., I'm going to the Inner Harbor, and I'm going to shoot somebody. I'm letting you know right now, I'm going to be wearing an orange Oreo shirt when I do it."
Yes.
And I'm
going to be looking for a blonde person.
And I'm going to be shouting loudly, "I hope no Baltimore Police Department come and stop me right now." And guess what? They will not follow up on that fucking shit. I could give them a direct time, and they will not show up for that shit. They'll come 10 minutes later going like, "Oh, somebody was shot?" Yeah, of course, because you don't fucking do any police work. Like, what makes you think that they're going to be able to do anything with the data that they have when mysteriously all the cameras in the city stop working all the time? Guess who controls that fucking shit? Baltimore Police Department.
Yep.
Number two, the other people who would be involved in the information. Was that you or was that?
That's
The other people who would be involved in that information is Baltimore City Hall, who I also do not trust.
Yes.
And you know what? I've decided that if we're going to live in the world of crazy hypotheticals and that anything is on the table now, we're just going to give up our civil rights over nothing and just allow the government to watch us all the time and eventually get to precogs and stuff like that, I'm going to bring along a new policy. I'm 100% sure, as sure as anyone can be, that it will lower the murder rate.
Okay, go.
Killing of the firstborns.
Oh.
From this point on, just immediately, as soon as a firstborn is had, just death. Because that one was probably the murderer.
Well, all right, I'm not going to... here's going to be a surprise for everybody.
And I mean, like, there's going to be a couple that you know, like innocent ones that get lost in the way. But from my highly scientific study of nothing, I am basing the fact that most murderers are firstborns.
As a surprise, I am not going to be as willing to go as far as you on this. As a firstborn, especially. I'm not sure I can back
Well,
that.
that's why you got to grandfather your way.
Oh, okay. All right. How about this, though?
New firstborns only.
In the spirit of Mark Geragos, since civil liberties don't matter, let's just lock up every male between the ages of 15 and 25.
No, there we go.
And we'll keep them locked up for that age range. And when they come out at 26, they certainly won't be institutionalized. And we'll just let them back into society. Because if you'll see, the statistics on murder, especially murder, but all violent crimes, are that they're committed mainly by males age 15 to 25. So if you really want to cut it down and civil liberties don't matter, just lock them all up. Whoever survives, you know, the Lord of the Flies situation that will be that jail, comes out and gets to go back into society.
It sounds like a win-win to me. And at the same time, we don't have to have the stupid plane.
Okay, one more alternative, and I rescind my previous comment.
guillotines. I think this could just all be solved by guillotines. The people who are proposing this, the people who are sponsoring the planes, I mean,
Just
the guy who's flying the
people
plane, guillotines.
people who are in support of this plane, just understand something real quick. There's no going back from this.
Oh yeah.
So imagine in your mind the worst case scenario, and then imagine it being twice as bad as you think it will be, because Baltimore.
Yeah.
And say, am I willing to live like this for the rest of my life?
Mm-hmm.
And then just realize that as soon as you say okay to this plane, which will not cut crime at all,
No.
I'm just telling you, it's not going to have any difference to crime. I could literally I could bring a psychic into the Baltimore Homicide Department and have them accurately predict the next 100 murders that will happen in the city, and there will still be 100 murders that will happen in this city.
Yes.
There's no point. You're never getting this back. You're never. It's like, you asked for the pony. Now you got to take care of the pony for the rest of its life. And ponies live a long time.
And I just want people to keep in mind, I've seen a lot of people tweeting about the survey. They spent $40,000 on a survey.
Yeah.
And you hear that and you're like, wow, that must be a thorough survey. Oh no. 500 responses to a phone survey.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I saw mentioned in another tweet.
Landline
They
phones
called landline phones. So these are people who have a landline in 2019
and are willing to answer questions
and are willing to answer questions. Now, the demographics seem to break down
and
along.
are being led along under the pretenses that this plane is going to reduce serious crimes like murder, or
the worst phrasing.
an outside independent oversight group would ensure that the system is not being abused.
And by the way, the oversight group is the company who benefits
Yeah.
to continue the contract, which really doesn't seem to make sense. But my point is, it seems to break down along demographic lines. And I think people forget that not everyone is poor in Baltimore. And I could find white, black, Asian people in Baltimore who are wealthy and live in the white L, even though it's really just the rich L, who would have this exact response to things.
Yeah.
So it all matters who you call and how you call them and whether or not they answer on what answers you get.
I bet you if we put a poll out on the field under similar circumstances.
I don't have $40K to spend.
Well, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Hypothetically,
Okay,
yeah. If we put a poll out on the field and we said, at no cost to any taxpayers, would you be in support of Google or Alexa or any of these different smart assistants to be posted every 10 to 15 yards throughout the entire city, so that it's always listening and always available to give you answers that you may have? People would be like, no, I don't want them listening to me all the time.
Yeah.
This is what you're getting. You're signing up for your fucking plane.
Yeah. And, oh, by the way, Ring, which is an Amazon company, made a deal with like 400 police departments to turn over the video and audio footage from their Ring devices. So we basically already have that. Especially in
Surprise!
these neighborhoods. The neighborhoods where the wealthy people live, like the big L. That's where Rings are going to be, and they're going to be there. So.
Well, you know where I go when the stupidness is just too much for me to overcome?
Where's that?
OTheAnthem.com, Cory to OTheAnthem.com, O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. I think they were complaining when I was like banging on the table.
Yes.
But I'm still like trying to like...
You banged and they just banged back.
Yeah. You can find more of me at my website, CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, which is going to get a little bit of a refresh this week now that I actually have time to refresh it. You can find my movie reviews, including Joker, which came out today.
I gotta film some movies.
And yeah, that's about it for me now. I'm going to do a El Camino review on Thursday, I think. That way I can guarantee that I will see it at some point before Thursday rolls around. And then we'll go see some movies this week now that I have more of an open schedule.
You remember how tired Cory was during his last... what was it that you were super tired during? I watched it. And you looked tired. Hustlers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the El Camino review. So I just watched El Camino. It's 3 a.m. I just finished it. This is going to go up immediately.
It's Wednesday night. See, I usually do them during the day
El Camino.
because
Give it
it's a little bit quieter.
5.3.
But the last two reviews I had to do at night. and I don't feel like they were my best just because I was like, I feel like the insight was good. I just don't feel like I looked particularly. I looked like
The
I worked on
energy
set
was
all day.
low.
Yeah,
And I immediately had to be like, all right, I got to focus on what he's saying because I can't judge
based off of
based
my
on the mood
yeah
and the energy. Which
Right.
a lot of times it's easy to kind of like let it play and just judge how you're feeling about it based on the energy.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to tear this apart if I don't have an energy to respond to? Anyway, yes. Sorry, was there more?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. You can find more from me at Robert N. Cheek on our social networks. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com where you can find links to my political blog. The YouTube channel, which has reviews up, 2 reviews up right now. It Chapter 2 and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. So timely, so on. Gonna be recording.
Both are ripping through the box office charts at the moment.
Yes, more reviews are coming this week. I'm recording Joker. I'm gonna record Hustlers. I'm gonna record Downton Abbey. I got a lot of stuff. El Camino, I could record tonight because I've already seen it. I'm going to try to beat Cory to that. That's going up as soon as possible. Maybe I'm going to do 2 on Thursday. Maybe I'm just going to drop them every single day to the end of the week. Probably not. But I got to edit it and put it together. It'll be fine. New stuff coming out. But, of course, at that website, you can also find the books which are available on Amazon.
Buy Rob's books.
Thank you.
Well, I think we've done good today.
Yeah. Oh, and look for that new podcast coming from Dana McAllister. I just... So the inside joke for you guys who haven't been following that long is the summer before we moved here, was it 2016? Yeah, because I was driving Uber. I don't remember who said it, but they were just like, I bet you could do thought fluencing, like Gary Vee stuff. So I just started going on one of those video apps. It wasn't Vine, but it was like one of them. And doing these like super positive, like, you can change your life in just 5 minutes a day. It's the 2-2-2 plan. Here's how it works. 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. Plan out your life in manageable segments. And by the time we left, I was logging on, and then it would be like 1,000 people watching me ramble on about 2 days. So I think I'm going to bring that back. I've been listening to a lot of Dexter Guff is Smarter Than You, and I feel like, first of all, he took my shtick. I'm not happy about. I can take it back. I'm going to do it. Daniel McAllister presents the Telephone.
Smarter than a 5th grader.
Yes, something like that. Anyway, so not that I don't have enough stuff going on. I'm about to go do my taxes, which haven't been done, and also code for about 5 hours in Salesforce. But as soon as that gets done, reviews and new podcast, and I got to write a book at some point or edit a book at some point.
Yeah. I still have a couple more pages left to... By a couple more, I mean like 200 something pages.
You got a free some free time now, right?
Yeah, now I can
Free
finally.
time?
Now I can find. I brought it with me. It's in my backpack. I was bringing it to set every day, going like, I'm gonna have some time to read this at some point.
Nope. Nope, that's not how it works.
Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. I mean, I did suggest guillotines twice, though. And as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast.
I suggested killing of the firstborn.
We're getting biblical here, all right? Shit is getting biblical. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. By the way, my mic has been sinking the entire episode. I just realized I'm like all hunched over.
Yeah, because at the end you're just like, ooh,
man. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network.
That guy mine had the counterweight.
Now I need to get a counterweight. Oh, guys, we're in desperate. Go to the merch store, buy some merch. We're in need of some new mic stands. So come help us out. But you've listened to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Cory, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
Toodaloo.
That's your out. After that, that's
Why
what you go
not?
out on.
Why not?